and the angles are different. It's the old age, this is the new age. I wanted to come over here to America and show the American public the new era of the fighting Irish, and I brought my whole country with me. If one of us go to war, we all go to war.
Alright, what's up, fighting world? I kid you not, you're not going to believe me, I just landed. I landed in Nigeria about 45 minutes ago. Taxi straight here, and this is dedication, right? The missus is upset, so the missus is upset. But I said, look, I've got to film. I need to film, god damn it. So the lights are on, camera's on, and we are rolling. That's dedication to the cause. Remember, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, share the videos if you can, and leave your comments. I promise, I have responded to some, and I need to respond to others. You know what it is? Some of the comments are so detailed, I need a detailed answer back. I can't just respond and say, yeah, great comment. I need to go in detail with you guys. So apologies for those that I've not responded to. I'm gonna film this, get some grub, go to bed, and whilst in bed, respond to a few views. So hopefully some of you guys get a response back and you can comment back so we can go back and forth for a few hours, right? That sounded wrong, but you know what I meant. If you are an existing subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and watching this video. Much appreciated. Really, really, really much appreciated. Alright, let's get into it. So let's play devil's advocate for a while. Yeah? This isn't clickbait or anything stupid like that. But deep down in my heart of hearts, there is absolutely no way Conor McGregor can beat Floyd Mayweather. But as a fan of mixed martial arts, as a big fan of Conor McGregor, as a fan of the underdog, so to speak, I think it's fair to say, let's have a look at how he possibly, can you see how small that is? Possibly could win. Alright, look, I've listened to Brendan Sharp, who seems to be Conor McGregor's biggest fan. I'm not joking, biggest fan. Some things he says are completely delirious and completely left field, and I understand his passion, right? He's an MMA guy. Why would he not root for the MMA guy? Why would he not root for Conor McGregor? I think, like many people, he loves the Conor McGregor story, and how could you not? 4.5 years ago, this guy was admittedly on welfare. 4.5 years ago, I'll say that again, Conor McGregor was on welfare. I remember when Conor McGregor had his first fight in the UFC against, I can't remember his name. Why is it not coming to me? Anyway, he got the knockout of the night or something, and he was like, Dana White, 50 G's, baby. Like, he was almost, please, Dana, give me the fight of the night bonus. Give me the 50 grand, please. And now look at him, possibly fighting for what will, when it's all said and done, be about $175 million. 4.5 years later. You just got to bloody applaud that. I'm not sure when Conor McGregor started his MMA career. I think it could be about 10 years ago. But regardless, everything he done in Cage Warriors, Cage Rage, is that what it's called? Leading up to that, you know, it's just petty, so you're talking thousands, 2,000, 3,000. For him to have joined the UFC and obviously become a millionaire in the UFC, and now to become a multi-millionaire with this big fight against Floyd is just remarkable. What he's done in 4.5 years in terms of how he's promoted himself, not just that, but he's done it in the cage as well. Let's be honest, big wins against Chad Mendes, Aldo, Alvarez, and obviously the Nate Diaz fight, even the loss against Nate Diaz. What he did after that loss is remarkable. And you've just got to take your hat off to it, saying, look, let's do the rematch straight away. Let's not make you drain weight. Let's you stay at the weight that obviously you're comfortable at, and let's go again. And for him to go again in a fight against a guy that's always going to be tough for him. It's always going to be tough. Nick Diaz almost reminds me of a Margarito type fighter that, remember Floyd didn't fight Margarito, a Margarito type fighter that just keeps on coming. Just there's nothing you can do. And I think Floyd realized those kind of fighters, and he doesn't like those kind of fighters. And we saw that against Marcus Maidana, right? Where someone just keeps on going. Anyway, that's my shit about Conor McGregor. I think he's amazing. I think it'd be wrong for me to not look at how he could possibly win. Let's. Brendan Schaub did say something like Conor McGregor's the best striker in the UFC. He's not. He's not the best striker in the UFC. So let's all casual MMA fans understand that that's not true. So it's not like he's the best boxer in UFC. He's not. And he's not the best striker in UFC. He's not either. And that probably goes down to a lady actually called Joanna Jędrzejczyk. She's probably the best striker in UFC. And after that, even though he's kind of semi-retired and part-time and not what he used to be, Anderson Silva, probably the second best striker. So there's many people I consider better strikers in the UFC than Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is a seriously good striker. Definitely in my top 10. But I can probably think off head about 5 or 6 people that I think are better strikers than him. That probably... Gegard Mousasi, another very good striker, who has, I think, done some amateur boxing as well. So yeah, there's many other good strikers. So don't be fooled by the tag that Conor McGregor is the best striker in MMA and he's going to show that against Floyd. What he will do, and I think it's fair to say, is cause some problems to Floyd in terms of his stance as well. MMA and mixed martial arts have a really wide stance. You don't see that in boxing. Will he translate that into his boxing and kind of had a wide stance? Possibly. I think he's got to go in there and use all the tricks he can. Even when they get up close, a lot of boxers seem to almost tangle themselves up and don't know what to do. Conor McGregor, if he gets anywhere close to Floyd Mayweather and they have to tangle themselves up, trust me, he'll be doing a few naughty stuff there in terms of arm locks and things like that. The referee has been told, look, Conor McGregor does that, he gets disqualified and loses his purse. That's not going to happen. Every time he gets close, he knows how to tangle Floyd up and he'll use that to his advantage. He's a lot bigger than Floyd as well, so I expect him to try and put that little extra bit of weight on Floyd. Those little things might be small things, but against a 40-year-old Floyd, there might be big things, there might be key. How will Floyd react to fighting a southpaw? Floyd has fought southpaws in the past. Not many, but he doesn't really necessarily like fighting southpaws. Conor McGregor is a southpaw with a big left hand. Could that be a problem? Getting under Floyd's skin. Now that's probably the biggest thing Conor can do. Look, Conor, we know, talks. And he talks and talks and talks. But he doesn't just talk outside the cage or the ring in this instance. He talks inside as well. That might just kind of get under Floyd's skin a little bit. Floyd's used to talking himself. He's not really used to someone firing back. When someone fires back, how would he handle that? How would he handle that extra kind of pressure? Like, oh my God, I'm hitting this guy and he's still talking to me. I'm punching this guy and he's still talking. He's still giving me the verbals. Will that have any kind of say in Floyd's mind? I don't think so. We're clutching at straws here, but this is what we got to do, right? We've got to play devil's advocate. What about the 40-year-old legs? Now, Floyd, almost like Bernard Hopkins later in his career, likes to take rounds off. We've seen it. He almost coasts in rounds. MMA guys are not used to taking rounds off because normally they're fighting 3 or 5 rounders. You take a round off in a 3 or 5 rounder fight, you kind of lost the fight. So will Conor be able to kind of put the pressure on so Floyd doesn't get a minute's rest? If he can do that, if his gas tank is good like that, Floyd isn't going to like that. I don't care how fit and how good Floyd is, no 40-year-old is going to like pressure after pressure after pressure. And again, we saw that against Marcus Maidana in both fights. Marcus Maidana just kept on coming, and Floyd just didn't like that. Whereas we saw someone like Andre Berto, who gave Floyd time to breathe and time to kind of set traps, it was easy pickings for Floyd. Will Conor be able to kind of just put pressure and put pressure and put pressure? Does he have enough skill set to put pressure? Who knows? Foot movement. Mixed martial artists are used to kind of, I think, having better foot movement than boxers. And that's just because of the way, what they have to do, the things they're having to set up, whether it be leg strikes, whether it be trying to kind of wrestle someone to the ground, whether it be trying to look for a submission. Their foot movement is always on the go, always thinking. Whereas boxers don't necessarily have that a lot. You look at some of the best boxers out there, they lack a lot of foot movement. GGG likes to cut people off in the ring, but not great foot movement. Adrian Broner, good hand speed, not very good foot movement. Not a lot of boxers have good foot movement. Will Conor's foot movement and the way he can dart in and out cause Floyd problems? Punch power. This is interesting. Conor is definitely the bigger. Look, this is Conor that fought at 170. 170! That's like a light heavyweight. Think about that for a second. He fought at 170 and there wasn't a part of me that there wasn't a part of me that felt like he looked overweight at 170. In fact, he looked in very good shape. Almost reminds me of how Brook looked against GGG at 160. Conor McGregor, unless there's some sort of hydration clause, Conor McGregor is probably going to walk into the ring around 170, 172, 173. Floyd will probably walk into the ring at 156, 157 max. That's a stone weight difference. Will the extra power have an effect on Floyd if Conor does land? It's all about ifs here. Look, Floyd's been a lot easier to hit in his last few fights. Let's be honest, guys. More than we've ever probably seen. Will Conor be able to land one? If he does, coming from a guy that is a lot bigger than Floyd, what effect will that have on Floyd? I mean, I said this before. Marcus Maidana threw Hail Marys. There wasn't no technique in it. There's hardly technique in Robert Garcia's fighters apart from Mikey Garcia. He was just throwing Hail Marys, and one of them landed. I don't know what round it was, but do you remember when Floyd went back to the corner and he was stung? So you kind of wonder if Conor can throw that left. Remember, it's coming from a southpaw stance, and one lands. You just don't know. I think Floyd will adjust. You could argue that Floyd might lose the first round, or it could be an even round, just because of the awkwardness of Conor McGregor. You know, Conor McGregor is very awkward. But then after that, he adjusts, and he clearly runs away with it for me. But you never know. 40-year-old legs. This is, again, devil's advocate, people. Don't shout at me. Don't leave hateful comments. 40-year-old legs. Fighting minute after minute after minute, because that's what MMA guys are kind of used to. The bigger guy, the trash talker, and the awkward stance, the good foot movement. Does Conor have any chance at all of springing a surprise? I don't know. I almost want to see what he does against Paulie. I think he's sparring Paulie Malignaggi. I'm guessing that sparring will be secret. But Paulie does like to talk a lot, so he might be able to kind of reveal a bit about the sparring. Paulie would know from the sparring alone if Conor's got a chance. Remember, Paulie's a retired fighter. And if Conor can't land on Paulie, who's quite elusive himself, but not so much in his later years, then he definitely can't land on Floyd. So I guess we're going to find that out in the next month. But look, one thing we do know is you're going to get a lot of MMA guys that are going to come out of the woodwork, and Conor fans, which I am one of, who are going to say Conor has a chance. Conor, for me, has 0.01% chance of beating arguably the greatest fight we've ever seen, of this generation anyway, and someone definitely in the top 10, top 15 of all time. Yes, he is 40, but Floyd is meticulous in his preparation. We've seen it already. There's no cutting corners with Floyd. And that's one thing I appreciate about Floyd, and one thing that makes him so great. There is never an excuse for Floyd. It's not like Adrian Broner when he said, his mind has to be right. Or Kell Brook where, he has to be on his weight. Or Amir Khan where, oh my God, if he gets hit on the chin. Floyd ticks every single box. Defensive genius. Can still punch a bit. Maybe not as hard as he used to be able to because of his hands, but he can still hit a bit. Elusiveness. We know that. He's will to win. He's will to always find a way. That's what's key. Floyd always finds a way. And he can take a punch as well. Let's not forget when Shane Mosley landed that massive punch. I think it was in the second round. And Oscar was screaming and laughing outside the ring. Everyone thought that was it. Floyd recovered and just dominated him. So can Conor McGregor win? No, but hey, I just gave you a few reasons why he might cause a bit of a problem. Leave your comments below. Peace.